Hello, this is Steve Signs, your ATL Sherpa. Welcome to the Atlanta Craft Beer Map website. I've recorded a separate video that is a walkthrough of the mapping tool itself, but I wanted to take a few minutes and walk you through this new website. A lot of good stuff on here, especially if you're a beer lover. I created this for you. If you like it, I hope you'll share it. But here's what's on here. So you're looking at the home page. That's a picture that I took several years ago while sitting at the bar at the Brickstore Pub in Decatur. And if you've never been to the Brickstore Pub, let me tell you right now, that's got to be on your bucket list. If you like beer, and if you just like wonderful, wonderful pub and restaurant with great food and incredible beer, this is a place you got to go. It's in downtown Decatur, or Decatur Square. But anyway, that's the homepage. Let's take a look at the rest of the pages on this website. I would recommend that you just kind of go in order here. The Atlanta beer scene is a quick overview of the Atlanta beer scene. There's a great picture of it. I took all these pictures that are on the website, by the way, over the years. This is just an awesome photo of the bar at the Porter Beer Bar, and I've talked about the Porter Beer Bar on this page. So this is considered by many to have the best beer list, the best beer program in the city of Atlanta. And I think most serious beer people would probably agree with that. But anyway, take your time. Talks a little bit about the history of the beer scene in Atlanta. There's that little titty on the Porter Beer Bar that I added, and I've got some other photos that I've taken. I've really enjoyed sharing some of these that I've taken over the years. And then there's a great quote here from a guy named Jeff Allworth. Beer Vanna is the name of his blog, and it's a fantastic blog. He writes a very complimentary quote here about the Atlanta beer scene. This is actually a little excerpt from a blog post that he did recently about some of the breweries in Atlanta. And I think I want to say he's from Portland, but suffice to say he was very impressed by the Atlanta beer scene. So you can take your time with that. The next page on the map, on the website is the Atlanta Craft Beer Map. Again, I've recorded a separate video, which I'm actually going to embed right here on this web page in a little while. But what you have here is the map that I've created embedded in this web page, so you can use it right in here. You want to start by clicking on this little box up here next to the title. That will bring in the beer legend. I'm sorry, the map legend with the beer breweries and all the beer stops on here. And this is where all the good stuff is. So you can check these boxes to add information onto the map. That's what's called layers. If you want to see where all the MARTA, probably want to zoom in on the map. But if you want to see where all the MARTA stations are in relation to the breweries, you can do that. I've added the biking and walking trails that make up part of the Atlanta Beltline. I've got that on there. Again, spend some time with this, but I don't want to spend more time on the map here because, again, I've recorded a separate video that's I think about 17 minutes long. It's a deep dive into this map because there's a lot of really good stuff on there. So that's the map. Moving on, there is a page here called Atlanta's Beer Districts, and this has to do with the map that I just showed you. But let me walk you through this because I think this is important, and I'm going to be adding some additional information on this particular page here. But because of the number of breweries that are in the Atlanta area, by the way, my map currently has 86 breweries and brew pubs, and I've included breweries that are in the entire metro area. So as far north as Canton and Cumming and Duluth and some of those northern suburbs, and even south toward Noonan and Peachtree City. When you look at the map, you'll see that I have breweries in all of those locations, right? So obviously that area is, it would take you months to tour that whole area. So I created what I call touring districts. Okay. So the South Side District is the first one. And I just want to walk you through this real quick. And then when you go to the map and that video that I recorded, the deep dive for the map, I go into a lot more detail of how I use these districts to organize that map for touring purposes. But as far as this information, let me just kind of walk you through it. So the South Side District, as you can read here, is all the breweries that are south of I-20. And they're all listed right here. Best End, Wild Heaven, West End, Monday Night Garage, Halfway Crooks, Eventide, Elsewhere, Sabbath, and Hip Hops. These are over in East Atlanta Village. Okay. And those are grouped as sort of a single touring layer on the map, and you'll understand what that means when you watch that video. But that's what I did to make the city more approachable when it comes to going out and visiting these various breweries. So in other words, what I'm saying is you're going to go to a particular part of town and visit the breweries that are in that area. It's kind of like if you're out in the wine country, right? You're going to tend to go to the wineries that are kind of in the same area. If you're out in Napa or Sonoma, and honestly, the metro area of Atlanta is as large as one of those counties. So you have to sort of break it down into bite-sized pieces, if you will. The next district, I call it the Central District. And again, you'll see it on the map. It starts down in Reynoldstown at Three Taverns Imaginarium and basically goes straight north, kind of follows the East Side Trail and ends up at the Sweetwater Brewing, which is up in Piedmont Heights. So you can see the list of all the breweries in the Central District. Then I created the East Side District for everything that's over east of Inman Park. So starting with the Wrecking Bar Brew Pub, which is technically in Inman Park, it's on Moreland Avenue, and basically straight east all the way out to Avondale Estates, you'll see all these breweries, wonderful breweries that are almost in a perfect line all the way down to Cab Avenue, and then it turns into College Avenue as you go through Decatur and on out into Avondale Estates. So for those of you that know that area, you know that these tend to be sort of smaller, more, I wouldn't call them microbreweries, but then definitely small batch breweries, but some really wonderful, and some not so much. Three Taverns is a major brewery over in East Decatur Station, as is Wild Heaven. But some of these others are smaller, like Candler Rail, Scepter Brewing, Little Cottage, even Lost Druid. These are sort of small batch breweries that are just wonderful, wonderful places to visit. So spend some time over there on the east side. And then the fourth district that I created for touring purposes is what I call the Upper West Side District. And that's a term that's being used to describe that part of town. I'm talking about the northwest part of the city. These are the breweries that are located west of I-75 and north of Midtown, in that area up along Chattahoochee Avenue, if you know where that is, Ellsworth Industrial Boulevard, starting with Monday Night Brewing, the original Monday Night. It's technically Berkeley Park. And then it goes all the way out to the original Scofflaw Brewing over there out in the northwest part of the city. So again, when you go to the map, these districts will take on will become more meaningful for you, but I wanted to at least point them out to you here on the website. And then the last page on this website is called the Barrel Room. And what I did here was I created a page to organize and curate a lot of content that has to do with the craft beer industry, starting with local events. These are links that will take you to various websites and other resources. Some of them are the beer events themselves that have to do with local events, beer events that are happening here in the Atlanta area. The next section is called Beer Apps, just what it sounds like. Spend some time with that. There's some really, really cool apps listed there. Then I've got local news, stuff that has to do with Atlanta and Georgia. And then last but not least, I call it the beer industry. This is more national news, things having to do with the sort of the beer industry at large. So that's my new website. It's called the Atlanta Craft Beer Map. The website URL is pretty easy. It's ATL Hops, HOPS.com. So I hope you find this helpful. If you do, please share it with your friends. I've got a blog and a podcast that's called atlsherpa.com. So please hit me up there, and you can follow me on Facebook as well. I hope you found this helpful. This is Steve, your ATL Sherpa.